And good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday. It is webcast day. And today I decided that, well, online has kind of taken over everything over the last few months. And when it comes to networking, it's a place that we all are lately online. But what really makes an online network successful? And who better to tell us than Samantha Kelly, AKA Tweeting Goddess, about her Women's Inspire Network, which is a globally recognized network. Samantha, how are you?
Yay! Hello, hello. Lovely to see you. Thanks a million for the opportunity to have a chat.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And it's funny because like I have been a member of the network for I can't remember actually for a number of years. And
Mhm.
it's usually done the other way around. You're usually in my seat and I'm sitting in yours or something for something that's going on. So
It's
yeah, it's a bit
great.
odd
Yeah.
turning the tables today. So tell us where, first of all, where did the seed of this of Women's Aspire, how did it kick off?
Oh, sure. Look, I'm a business owner myself, and I remember when I started my first business in 2011, I felt really lonely and isolated. I was working from home. I had a viable business. I couldn't really get to networking events. My daughter's deaf, so it was like, trying. Well, she's got some hearing. She got two hearing aids, but there were appointments and stuff, so I couldn't really go to networking events. So I kind of wanted to find other people like me. And so I did. I found them on Twitter using Twitter. And then I said, there's no women's hashtag Twitter chat. And so I said, right, I'll start one. So I just started one, and the Women's Inspire Twitter chat, which is on 10 till 11 p.m. every Tuesday night on Twitter. And that just kind of grew. And then people said, oh, this is really great. And then they wanted more. And so we created a Facebook group. And then the Facebook group had 8,000 members. And then it was like I was wrecked. I was exhausted. And I said,
Yeah.
hang on, I have to do something and think like a businesswoman here. So that's when I created the Women's Inspire Network. Well, Esther IPA Group created Women's Inspire Network.com, and then we decided we'd make it a subscription model. So that's what we did. And then, like, we have 390 members now. It's all really supportive, and it's nice because, like, I know when I used to go to events, I didn't quite feel like I fitted in. So it's really nice to be able to ask questions and no one's going to say, oh, that's a stupid question. And I like
Yeah,
that,
no, it is. It is actually that's the thing because the chat in the group it's a free chat that anybody that's a member of the network can actually just pop in, ask a question, and it doesn't actually have to be a business question.
No, it can be, look, we're all humans. We're all going through, I think now more than ever, actually, I've noticed the amount of kindness and stuff going around, especially on social media, people trying to help each other where they can, because we kind of feel helpless and we don't have control over what's happening in the world. So it's nice to be able to do something to help even one person. So yeah, I think it's great because, someone might be, maybe someone would have lost someone through the
Yeah.
coronavirus, or maybe someone like, yourself missing their parents or whatever, and it's just nice to be able to just vent that and say, how you're feeling, because everyone else goes, well, oh my God, I'm feeling the same. So it just makes you feel less alone and isolated.
And I think that's one of the things because within the Women's Inspire Network, like when you think like it's an online network and people be saying, yeah, but you're
Mhm.
online. How can you
Yeah.
connect with somebody? You're online.
Mhm. Do you know, it's great actually. Actually, this hasn't been bad for Women's Inspire Network at all. I just get the branding in there while I take a sip of tea. But it hasn't been bad at all because people are realizing now actually online it works. I know many times I've had to drive all the way to Dublin for a meeting, and then they've gone, yeah, we're actually not going to go with yourself. And I'm like, oh my God, that could have been in an email.
Yes.
So it eliminates that it could have been an email meeting. And also it's proven, we've actually proven that online works. All through this pandemic, people have had to do Zoom calls for the first time. They've had to learn how to use the tools that are there. And reluctantly, some people have had to do it, but they realize now, well, actually, we can run things pretty cool now online. So I know a lot of pivots have been done in the network, for example. Mezzo Music Academy, like it's a music school, and they've started doing their music lessons online, which is amazing. And then there's the ladies that are doing the yoga, Antoinette, Louise, and Katrina, and so on, and Grania, and they're actually, and Emma, oh, there's loads of yoga teachers actually. They're all pivoting their classes online, so now they're getting clients from all over the world. It's just lovely. So it is possible. Thank goodness, a few of those ladies had done my 6-step program, so they were already ready to go online. So it just opens up a global possibilities. And that's why our network, the Women's Inspire Network, it's global because it's online. So we're
Yeah, and
not
it was probably one
down
of
the
the
road.
first ones to go online.
Yeah.
You know, it was probably one of the earlier ones because, and I do remember when you set up on Twitter, actually, because I was actually one of your earlier followers. You know, when you're, it was
Yay.
around the time I was kind of getting used to Twitter as well at that stage, and I was saying, oh yeah, this looks interesting. You know, I'll follow her and see what's going on and see what's happening. You know, so that was all. So that must be, how long ago was that then? That
That would
was,
be probably nearly 3 years ago, but 2 years anyway, definitely. I mean, it was quite innovative at the time, and everyone was like, online, sure, what's a
yeah.
webinar, you know? And so, but now people are saying, you know, this actually is quite cool, you know? And the lovely thing about the Women's Inspire Network is that people get to know each other so well in the Facebook group and on the Twitter chat and, you know, on the webinars, that when they meet, it's hugs, not handshakes. Like Brian Fanzo always says, you know, hugs, not handshakes. And that's what it is at
Let's,
the
fingers
events.
crossed we get back there now to hugs.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
We do
that
one
is,
big event every year. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, actually that's right. And that's the thing now, you see, because the conference that was planned, say, which is great actually, because from online, because we are all chatting online,
Mm.
that it you know, there is a face-to-face meetup, which kind of actually makes the connection even stronger then when you can move from online. And the funny thing is, and you were up here in Donegal, you had one of your
Mm.
conferences up here in Donegal out in Harvey's Point.
Yes.
And it's gas because when you meet someone, you kind of go, I feel like I've known you for years,
Yeah.
you know, and that
Mm.
literally is the first words from some when we all meet up, you know, gosh, yeah, I think it's like I've known you for years.
Actually, it's funny. I met someone at the conference and I was sitting there and we were having lunch and I was like, actually, I just realized this is the first time we've actually met in real
Yeah,
life. And we
yeah.
hadn't copped that for ages because we'd known each other so well from doing one-to-one calls and stuff like. So it's really magical. I don't know what it is. Someone said if I could package what happens with Women's Inspire Network, I'd be a millionaire. So I don't know what that little thing is that we
I
have.
think, you know, when you think back, it that as you, and you mentioned it at the very beginning, was that always, and it's not just women, but men too, kind of, oh, I have to head to Galway for this meeting, or I have to head to Dublin for that meeting,
Mm,
or
mm,
whatever it is. And you've your couple of hours travel, you have your time in the meeting, you have your expenses coming back, and before you know it, you know, that one meeting has cost you a fortune. Whereas when you are online and at home and networking that way,
yeah,
it means then that the value of, say, that meeting face to face at the end of the year or that once a year conference or whatever it is
yeah.
actually worth so much more.
Yeah, maybe. And then the workshops, you see, another thing, you know, we all have to keep learning and
This
moving
is
with the
that was the
times.
next
And
thing I was going to
yeah,
say. Yeah,
yeah.
what it actually offers the members then once you are in.
Yeah, it's important, and you know, people could bring up a topic, and I'd say, right, I'll find someone who can, I'll find someone who can actually deliver a webinar on that topic, and I do, and I have a lot of good connections from being on Twitter and stuff. I have a lot of high profile connections that maybe, you know, people actually wouldn't expect to be sitting there learning from, you know, and they get a chance to talk to them on the screen and ask a question on the screen, and that's really lovely, you know. And I do like to highlight the members as much as possible. And I think that's really important. And I engage with them. I put a Facebook Live in every now and then just to check in. But, you know, sometimes it's just even about acknowledging, like one lady wasn't very well lately, and I sent her flowers from the network, you know, and it's just that little bit extra of
Yeah.
surprising and delighting your customers. And these wall planners, oh my God, I ordered loads of 2020 wall planners and sent them out by post. And I went to the post office and I packed them all, and my whole office was full of wall planners, 2020 wall planners. You might as well just throw them out the window now. I'm only joking. It's just, it's funny. Like, but even that little thing of sending something in the post, yes, it cost me money to do, but you know what? It was how it made the person feel that received it, and then
Yeah.
putting it on the wall. And I mean, you got one. Well, how did you feel?
Yeah, and it's used in particular for the
There you go.
webcast now, which is great. It's on the wall, and well, with the backdrop now here behind me, unfortunately you cannot see it. But the other thing is, an awful lot of members also would give up their time because of the support that's within the network. So, and what I say there is that members don't mind giving back then,
Yeah.
because what they get out of being a member.
Well, like even people that get an opportunity to present a webinar, let's say, I mean, I always say to them, look, have a call to action at the end in case there is something that you want to promote that if they like you, they'll buy from you. So I know a few members that have done a webinar, done a presentation, and then afterwards, the conversion rate is really high, and so that's why people don't mind doing the webinars, because they do get leads from it and sales. So it's worth their while doing it, and also to getting the extra exposure through Twitter, like retweets to my 52,000 followers. And the Women's Inspire Network Twitter account has 20,000 followers now. So, we really are active. We're probably the most engaged and active social media presence out there for women in business. And it's not just women in business as well. And I think people don't realize this, and it's something we need to push a little bit more. It's also artists, authors, teachers, people who want to learn and want to be around good people who will support you and be a cheerleader for when things go well for you as well. Like if you have something to launch in the future, a lot of authors are in the network too, because they
That's
have
right.
book launches,
Yeah.
And they do add great value, because, some of them part-time would maybe do, copywriting and stuff, and, be able to advise on grammar and just simple things like that we probably, well, I wouldn't. I'm not great with big words, for example. It's amazing the topics that come up in the Facebook group, the questions. And it could be a simple thing like, how do I reply to this horrible email? How do I get paid?
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
like that. And these are things that if I was on my own, I'd be sweating about, I'd be fretting about, I probably wouldn't be able to sleep. But this way, and also, we've teenagers. I mean, myself and yourself had a chat at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think once.
That's right.
It's like sometimes we've gone through, and for the younger members in the group, like we've gone through some of the things they're going through, and it could be something like, oh, the landlord said this and won't stop my rent, or whatever it is. At least we can advise and we can say, well, actually, this is how I handled that situation.
Yeah, there's such a mix of industries
Yeah.
within the network. As you say, there's financial, there's tax,
Solicitors.
there's solicitors, there's, like myself, coaches and trainers, and like there is such a breadth of membership. But what kind of webinars have you run within the group, say, over the last, I don't know, few months or years? So what kind of springs to mind?
Everything from, like last week, we had some bonus webinars. We had Canva, Instagram, how to communicate, how to do your 60-second pitch. We had things like sales, how to do a sale, how to actually bring the sale to decision, how to get it over the line, time management, how to work remotely was one we did a while back, content, how to create content that your audience will love on social media. So we do a lot of social media stuff, but we also do self-care and wellness stuff. And this is where the Well Expo would come in, it's, we do a lot of stuff about how to stay sane during the crisis, how to mind yourself, and how maybe even nutrition. Like we even had one once where 5 easy lunches to have with you when you're on the go, as a busy female entrepreneur. I know I do, I kind of sometimes forget to make lunch or eat
Oh,
something
we all do.
proper,
Yeah, I think we're all guilty
but
of
I had
that.
porridge for breakfast this morning. But even starting the day, stuff like that. And then, how to meditate, how to, take some time out. These are all important things, especially around mental health. And I think after this pandemic, we will have a lot of mental health stuff. I mean, I'm 12 years sober and we have online
Yes,
meetings.
congratulations. You just had your
Thank you.
anniversary, which is,
Yeah.
and that's a huge milestone.
Thank you. Yeah, and it was great because you know, I did the chair then. I did, I was the guest speaker at the meeting online. And you see, so I'm lucky. I have that outlet. I have somewhere to go and say, vent and cry or whatever it is I want to do. Whereas a lot of normal people don't have that. They
Yeah.
don't have that outlet and they could be stuck with some horrible person living with them for the past I didn't I was going to say something else. Living
Yeah,
with
we're
someone
live,
that's
Samantha.
living with someone who's not quite a nice person, maybe, or and that male or female, maybe
Yeah,
maybe you've a teenager who's a nightmare and you're
yeah.
having to sit in the house, so this is a tough time. So I think there's going to be a lot of issues, happening. I just think it's funny that off license were deemed an essential service. I mean, the amount of alcohol consumption has gone up so much, which is understandable. People are at home, they're kind of
Yeah.
sitting outside. The weather's been lovely, which is brilliant.
Now
Imagine
that's
this
the
happened in
one thing.
winter.
Yeah, I think
Oh
and
my
that has
God.
kind of helped lift our spirits as well. I suppose in a sense through this, gardens are being tended to all of a
Yes.
sudden, and we're listening to nature now that we didn't do, and that's the other thing because even though it's a network where a lot of business goes on, those personal stories of guys, all of a sudden I can hear the birds. There's an
Mm,
awful lot of personal chatter goes on within the network. And I think that actually adds to making
mm.
the connection, between the
Yes.
members, that it's, I don't use that expression free for all where everybody just go, but there is that freedom of expression within the group because there's no judgment.
No. And like if people like what you're saying, they'll engage with you and people buy from people and people buy from people they know, like and trust. So it's a great way to build trust when you put up something and then someone else goes, "Oh my God, that happened to me today as well," or
Yeah,
stuff like that. And that's just so important. And even just me putting up the video of the sea, what I was up to today, like I still, even though it was the weekend, it's just me checking in. And one lady didn't have such a nice weekend. She had to go to the hospital with her daughter. So it was nice to be able to support her, and that's really like I've heard so many great, but the other main thing which we actually don't talk about much is the amount of people who are getting sales from me in the network.
yes,
And I have, I know that I've introduced people to very big opportunities through the network. And this is the thing that isn't talked about enough, I feel. But actually, I know that people have got big contracts and stuff from introductions we've done through the network. And I know that it works. And you see, when it works, people will stay. And when you're giving value, people will stay. And when
yes,
they're getting the help and the support they need, they'll stay. But at the end of the day, we're all in business and we all need to pay bills and eat and feed our family. So when you start getting those sales as a result of being in Women's Inspire Network, that's the gold right there as well.
yeah, no, absolutely. And the thing was because you actually have a global membership. It's not even that it's just local or Ireland.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
it is actually a global
Yeah.
membership because I mean, I was in touch with, Anna is over in the States. I can't remember what part of the States she's
Texas.
in Texas. Yeah.
Del
And
Rio.
I did a bit of work with her,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and like that was all within the network. So the fact that you were able to attract a global membership
Yeah.
and build
That's
on that.
really important because we can learn from people in America,
Yeah,
and in the UK and Canada, like Elaine in Canada, like she's done brilliant webinars and we're like, oh my God. And it's all new to us, whereas over there, it's not new. Well, that's her skill. We have Shelley, who's a lawyer in New York. We have
excellent.
Debbie, who is in Colorado. I mean, I'm nearly going to be going to visit her in Colorado as soon as this travel back because she puts up pictures of the snow and all. And I'm like, I want to go there. And this could happen. There's no reason why a whole delegation, a whole load of us can't go to New York and do a conference over there in the future, I'm saying, but at the moment we can do it online and we can network online. Like there's no barriers online with regard to networking online. So it's
And
just
it has actually, from starting it up, it has actually given you travel opportunities to speak abroad as well
yeah.
from beginning it.
And not only me, I know Kirsten, for example, did a talk in the UK with Kim Adele, who's in the network. There are opportunities there, and people are getting opportunities to speak at different conferences and different countries as a result of people they've met in the network. And I just want to give a little shout out to Meg. I know her baby is due any day soon. I mean, it's just these little stories. It's actually the members, like the title of this is what makes a successful network. It's actually the members. It's the members that really make it. It's the helpfulness. It's the being there for each other. And I'm not trying to be all fluffy, but I'm sorry, at the moment, I think we need a little bit of hope and a little bit of inspiration. And this is what works. It's the people. I know it's how I set the tone as well at events. Like at events, I always start off with, look, leave your egos at the door. Let's all just have a great event and help each other. And I think that sets the tone for the whole network. It's like, look, maybe you don't like me, maybe I don't like you. But actually, to be honest, a lot of the bitches don't join the network because they don't like me. So it's fine, but it really is a good, positive place to be, and it's needed. And
Yeah.
Every business owner, I don't care if you're not in the network, even tag me on Twitter, like let us help each other. I think we should help each other. All the other networks, we all help each other. Like, I've often retweeted the Women in Enterprise. I've often retweeted Donegal Women in Business. It's about helping each other now. We all have to help each other and pull together, and that's what it's about. But yes, I'd love you to join Women's Inspire Network, obviously. But you see, once you see what's going on, people that have that fear of missing out, and they'll go, well, actually, maybe I should have a look at this. I never really looked at it properly, and that's usually when the members really get the value, is when they join.
Yeah, and as I say, like there have been, I mean, I know there was, and I missed it because unfortunately I fell asleep. I had just been so weary, but there was a brilliant one the other night because Sharon Creedon did one on Instagram and how to get the most from it and all that. And I'm going to have to watch the replay because there is a website with a members area, and there are contributions from all across different fields on different topics, and all the trainings then are in there for members to access then as well. And I think I mean, the point of today was kind of what makes a network, an online network, so successful. And of course I am a member of that network, and I can see that what it is actually it is that member interaction.
It does what it says in the tin.
Do you know what? And that is it exactly. And I think other networks could learn from it on what value too that they can provide to their members, and that's not just here. I mean, that's globally.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is engagement. And, we make sure that we do engage. We make sure that we retweet that person who's tagged us. So you're getting retweeted to 20,000 people. If I have time and I check out the Women's Inspire feed, I'll retweet it to 60,000 or to 54,000 people. This is about reaching more people than you ever reached before. You also have a chance to show your expertise. So if you feel like you're not getting noticed, join the network, put up an article. Esther will agree. We need content. We need lots of articles going out to show your expertise. Write an article, give us some tips, and we will share it out to our Twitter following. And our Instagram is really, really active too. If you tag us on Instagram, we'll put you in our stories. It's just, I think it's the engagement is the most important thing. It's how you make people feel. And I always try to make sure that no one feels ignored. Now, look, people will slip through the radar sometimes because they haven't been in there much, haven't been taking part. So it's about what you put into it. And that's where it comes down to the members again. It's about what you put into it, and whether you turn up for the webinar, whether you turn up for the Twitter chat, to keep on our radar. Because when you keep my radar, I remember actually Pauline we had a hashtag I am open going on Twitter, just to tell people that you're open. And then one of my connections, Gladriel, she's the head of women in Salesforce. She saw Pauline, and next thing, Pauline was on her podcast. So, it works.
Yeah. No, it does work.
It wouldn't have worked if she hadn't done the video. she went and put the work in. She did the video.
That's
You
it.
know, so
That's it. Esther, have we any questions at all coming in there? Can you hear me?
Yes, 1 second, sorry.
She's having her cup of tea in the background. I know she is. That's what's happening.
My mic fell. So no questions, just lots of lovely comments coming in from a lot of the members.
Thank you.
Sharon D says, hi ladies. It definitely took away the scare. Sorry, joining Win took the scare away from networking for me, says Sharon. Louise is all ready to go, bags packed and everything for New York. Kerry Denny says it's an outlet to walk through with others when you're emotional about it. Targa Lisa's here. Vivian Cardine is here. The Tuesday 10 p.m. Twitter chat is terrific, says Louise. I have another one. Aileen Kelly
and Louise
says, this is amazing. Yeah. Well done to you both. So
thank you so much. Thank you. And Louise only learned Twitter at the Galway conference. She wasn't on Twitter, and so I set her up on Twitter. She hasn't stopped since. She's great.
It is addictive, yes.
And then Sharon came to Donegal. It was just lovely, like these new people that have come into my life as well. Like a lot of us are becoming friends, you know, there's a lot of friendship happening too.
Absolutely. And I think that, as I say, it was the key thing, because all of a sudden when you meet somebody at an event, and hopefully depending on how things go, whether October happens or not, is that you actually do feel genuinely that you've known them for years, because you can hear them actually say what it is they are typing. Do you know what I mean? You can hear the voice behind the text. And I think that makes all the difference. And that's actually why I suppose people are so normal, then they feel comfortable to be themselves, connecting with like-minded people.
And can I give a little shout out to Esther in IPA group, because I mean, it was Esther that kind of pushed me as well to, you know, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to charge 20 a month. And she was like, Sam, just go for it, because Esther's been kind of there from the start as regards, you know, we met, she won a competition and we met in the UK actually initially. So, I mean, it's about making sure you don't forget these people as well that have been there for you at the start, that have come with you all the way through. And I'm not easy to work with, I can tell you that. And Esther will probably agree. Be quiet, Esther. Anyway.
saying nothing.
She's
but we do
nothing.
have a couple of questions in.
Yeah, okay.
There's questions in, Sam.
Great.
Yeah,
okay.
So Sandra Lusty asks, if you wanted to get attention of an influencer or celebrity, would you tag them directly?
Depends. I'd build a relationship with them first. Because I know Callum Best, for example, I remember he was on the Late Late Show. There was lots of negative comments, and I jumped in with a positive one about recovery and stuff like that for his dad and all. And he retweeted my one and liked my one, and then he followed me. So build a relationship first, and then I was able to message him at one stage, and he did do something then. But I wouldn't tag them publicly on Twitter, not necessarily. No, I would build a relationship and then just tweet to them and say, hi, would you mind following me so I can just send you a quick DM? That's what I do.
Perfect. And it's not in the questions directly here, but we always get it asked in emails. Is the Women's Inspire Network, 1, just for women, and 2, just for entrepreneurs, or can managers also join?
Oh, managers can totally join. It is for women. Okay. Sorry, guys. It is for women mostly. Okay. Now, the odd time, you know, it depends. It really is only by invitation if it's a man, but really it's women. We want to keep it that way at the moment. I know that might sound a bit, you know, but, you know, the guys, you know.
Well, it does what it says on the tin. It's the Women's
Inspire Network. Yeah. And
yeah.
actually, the guys probably wouldn't enjoy it as much maybe as well. But definitely at conferences, we have, I think, an attendance usually of about 10% male. So, you know, you are very welcome to come along to the live events. Absolutely. You can come along. We've even had newborn babies at the events.
That's right.
So, you know, and that's something I purposely did. And people had said, oh, you know, I have a new baby. And I said, well, why don't you bring him? And they were like, what? I was like, sure, bring him. Look, if he starts crying, just walk out. That's all I mean. You know, like once, you know, it's using your cup on, you know, if they're going to start screaming during someone speaking, you know, just walk out of the room and you know, but like, you know, everyone is welcome. It's anyone who needs to sell a service or product, whether that's your voice, your art, whatever it is, your books, and also anyone who wants to learn, anyone who is managing people, it may be in a male dominated environment, anyone who's working in a male but dominated environment that would like to hang out with some other women and some good women. The demographic would be mostly aged 35 to 55. You know,
might
if
have
you
to broaden that out a little bit soon.
but you know what I mean? But mostly, you know, like, you know, we encourage young women if they're definitely feeling isolated and they want to join. My daughter's in the network, she's 20. You know, there are younger women in there too, and we'd love to help them a bit more as well. So anything, and there you guys are bringing new ideas, especially around social media and stuff, to us, you know, so it's very important we have a mix. Anyone who's interested in learning and surround themselves with good people and wants to make new friendships are welcome.
And if they're just starting out, I would say it is definitely a great place for support, because the amount of advice from, I mean, Orla was here on the webcast, as you remember, a few weeks ago, you know, funding advice, where to go, what to do, you know, I mean,
where to start.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I say, every sector seems to be covered within it. So that is why it has become such a globally recognized network. And I suppose that is why it has become such a successful network, and is kind of just build on it, Sam. I mean, where do you go from here? What's your next steps?
Well, we're relaunching the Win Show, which we did with Alison, Nellie Olsen from Little House on the Prairie. I have to find a guest now to beat that, but I'm only joking. I mean, it's about people, and my light went out. Oh, that was my fancy light, by the way. Everybody, look, makes me look nicer. But you know, the Win Show. We've got the podcast. We have the October event. Okay, so I suppose at the moment we're just building our network. We have a new ebook going on the website as well, where people can download, which will be valuable for vision goals for the rest of 2020. You know, like, we're just working all the time on giving value, and we have to listen to the members too, and whatever it is that you're having difficulty with, we try and find someone that can cover that topic. But the October 21st is the next event. It's in Dublin. You can buy your ticket now. If it doesn't go ahead, which it should, we're just waiting to see. If it doesn't go ahead, it will be postponed at a later date, but definitely it's going to be a good event. They're always great events. So in the meantime, it's about spreading the word. If you know someone who is in business and is feeling a bit isolated, maybe a little bit lost at the moment, tell them about the network. It's only 20 a month. You know, it's really good value for what you get, and that feeling of being and belonging with a group of women who have your back, and also getting those sales in always is the best boost ever. When you get a sale in, you know, so if you want to get more sales, you want to expand your network, just join the network.
Brilliant. That's great. Couldn't be a better note, I suppose, to end on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on today. And I know you're heading off now because you have clients now shortly too.
I'm teaching a workshop on 3 steps to online success.
So best of luck with that. And
thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye, Esther. Bye. Bye, everyone.